Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So good to see you all. So first off, I want to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. In no way, shape, or form am I saying I'm the best Wuthering Waves player to have ever existed. I'm an expert in every mechanic, yada yada yada. I'm an above average player. I know the windows for parrying and dodging pretty well. I know most of the boss's movesets unless they're new because the 3.0 area I still am not familiar too much with. I know them well enough, but I would say I'm above average in pretty much most areas. But in no way, shape, or form am I an expert quick swapper, a meta gamer, or a whale. So please, before any of those comments come pouring in, I would ask that you kindly back off. I promise you, that's not the case. Now, getting into the crux here. I'm going to be showing off on the new game mode. I'm just going to call it the Matrix because I don't know what the heck it is. It's like some crazy words that don't necessarily make too much cohesive sense. So we're just going to call it, we're playing the new Endgame mode, the Matrix. And I put my 5 best teams after pulling Mornier. I finally have completed 5 teams that I feel very confident in to clear confidently. And so I wanted to put them to the test to see how far we could go in the new Endgame mode, the Matrix. And a little bit of a disclaimer again. All of the teams shown, the main DPSs, have cons. They have sequence nodes. They are at least S1 or higher. Just to give you guys an example, my Jin Shi team is S1. I got very lucky on her rerun banner, and I was able to pull that S1 on a 50-50. My Augusta team is S2. My Zani team is S1. My Cardathea team and Carlotta team are both S6. Now, before you guys come at my throat and try to kill me, at least let me explain what's going on. So like I stated before, Jinshi got very lucky on the rerun banner, got S1. I saw it was a huge damage increase. I wanted it, I tried for it, I got it. I was super happy. Zani, I bought her sequence node straight from the store because I had enough coral, and it gave a 50% damage boost to her spectro damage, which is her entire kit. That was too good to pass up, so I decided to spend the coral from my previous pulls in order to get her S1. Now, moving on to Augusta. Augusta ended up getting S1 just from the pulls on her banner alone, and I pulled her S2 from the store with my saved up coral. You can see the reoccurring pattern that's happening. Moving on to Carlotta. Carlotta was actually my first S6 character, and I got extremely lucky on her banner. I think on her banner alone, I was able to pull S2 with the initial summoning session, and then from there, I was able to get multiple copies during the duration of her banner with super earlies and super lucky 50-50 wins. And then I bought, I believe, both cons, but I'm not 100% sure if it was both or just one. I know for a fact I bought just one minimum, but I might have bought 2 from the store. So again, that's 3 characters out of the 4 that I've talked about so far that I bought cons from the store. And finally, the last team is just going to be my Cardathea team. She is also S6, and same thing, got very lucky, and I bought at least one from the store with the in-game currency given to you for free just from using the limited currency in order to pull when you get a 4-star or even a 5-star. So for that matter, again, 4 of those 5 teams that I just talked about, the only one that didn't count, which would be Jinshi because that was a lucky pull, I bought from the in-game store with the in-game currency that's given for free. I thought that was absolutely insane. Now, I did get super lucky again of Carlotta. Cardathea wasn't as lucky. It was very painful to get those cons, but I was able to pull it off, and that was my second S6. Ironically enough, as a little heads up for anybody who follows me, Wuthering Waves, or in general the space of gacha, I'm sure you guys have heard that there's a certain unit coming out in Wuthering Waves that's breaking records, and people have their eyes on this game because of it. Ameth is coming with the official leaks from Wuthering Waves, and you guys know what that means. I'm interested because not only is she going to be a Sentinel Resonator, which is equivalent to an Archon or a God in other gacha games, she has a broken kit. 4 animations that look like they could be ultimate quality, and she has super fun, flashy gameplay, and you know that she's going to be meta-defining because she's built for the Toon Break mechanic, which the entire game just got overhauled and updated to have every single enemy in the game have a Toon Break mechanic, along with every character that's been released prior to it in 3.0 access the Toon Break mechanic, just because they wanted to drop this new unit to go absolutely bonkers. Yeah, some people could say it's predatory, whatever. I agree, it's shady, you know, but at the end of the day, they're a business. They're trying to make money, and so you can't fault them too much for doing what they do, which every business does, which is innovate and try to get interest, whether it's, you know, changing up the formula or, you know, delivering something brand new that's going to pique everyone's interest. Or whatever, regardless, we're getting on a tangent on the wrong subject. Returning back to the whole point of this video here is I'm going to be pulling an S6 Amith, but it's not going to most likely be in the first banner because I have like 100 pulls right now after my Mornier pulls. It's not enough to get even more than one copy of her. So my plan is for her second banner to save everything I can for 3, 4, 5, 6 months and drop them all to hopefully complete the cycle and get her as my third S6 on my account. The funny thing is, I actually have an alternate account, and the S6 Amith Dream might come on her first banner, not from my main account, but the alt, because I currently have 617 pulls on this day, saved up, ready to go as a complete 100% free to play on that. The backstory behind it, I don't think I've talked about this on stream or on my YouTube yet, but the backstory is, we were in a dead patch during Wuthering Waves like 2.6, 2.7, I forgot which one it was, one of those. And I had completed everything in Wuthering Waves on my main, so I really wanted to play the game, but I found myself just in this weird hole where I was like, I'm forcing myself to play and there's nothing to do and I'm not really enjoying it. So I remembered that when I originally had started playing this game on mobile because they didn't release it on PS5 until 2.0, so I had to play 7 or 8 months on mobile in order to keep my account going, in order to stay, you know, relevant with the meta. I remember I created 2 accounts. I wanted to have a main, and then I wanted to have a backup. The backup being the no summons account that I'd seen other people do because I love watching videos. I've seen multiple iterations where people save 100% of their pulls for a year, 2, 3, until they see that one character that just piques their interest, and then they drop it all to S6 them, right? And I was like, ooh, I would love to do that. Like, how fun would it be knowing that my main account can't necessarily keep up, but my alternate account isn't going to be that lagging far behind because it's going to have an S6 unit that's genuinely fun, and at points I'm going to have a good time playing that more so than my main, right? So I decided, you know what? I'm going to load that bad boy back up, and even though it had been a year and a half, and I hadn't gotten the free 5-star ticket used because that had expired since they gave it to us in the beginning of the game as an apology for how bad they released the state in. That had expired after a year, so I didn't have that anymore. And I didn't get the free Zheng Liao because that was a 1.3 thing, and obviously I didn't log back in for that. I totally had forgotten about my alternate account at that point. I decided, you know what, I don't care. It still could be a good video, fun content, and it will force me to use 4 stars because I'm not going to obviously summon any limited units. It would force me to use 4 stars and remember why I fell in love with the game to begin with, because in my opinion, when I started Wuthering Waves, the 4-star units, Yang Yang, Chixia, Baiji, and so on, were so high quality that I couldn't believe that they were starting out 4 stars. They looked genuinely as good or better than the 5 stars in Genshin Impact at that time. You can look it up. See what units came out when Wuthering Waves dropped in 2023, 2024, whatever it was at this point, and compare what we saw, especially in 1.1 when we had Jinshi and Changli, to any unit that was in Genshin Impact, and you'll see where I was coming from, where I was like, oh my god, there's no way in heck that this is real. Regardless, my point is, those characters were so gosh darn good that I decided to give the game a chance purely because I liked how good the 4 stars were looking. To give you an perspective, or an example I would say, a comparison, Yang Yang, the starting 4-star and the poster child of Wuthering Waves, is basically the equivalent to Amber of Genshin Impact. And if you look at their 2 kits, look it up, Amber Genshin Impact, and then you look up Yang Yang Wuthering Waves, you're just going to laugh. You're going to be like, there's no freaking way. And I knew right then and there that if that was the starting 4-star that was given to us from Wuthering Waves, that was their Amber, it was going to be a you-know-what show. It was going to be a mop-up. It was going to be a bloodbath. It was going to be a straight slaughterhouse if you compared the 2 in terms of gameplay and animation. And I wasn't wrong. I was 100% right. When you compare Wuthering Waves now to what Genshin has released and what they currently are releasing, it's sadly laughable. Like, let's be honest. So, regardless, long story short, getting back on track, it told me that, you know what, maybe it'll give me a chance to actually use those 4 stars and fall in love with the game all over again. And the only exception and only rule that I allowed myself to do, because I wanted to have some chance to clear Endgame, since I was going to be putting some time into it, was that I could use the standard pulls that I accumulated to try to get standard 5 stars. That way I could try to get that Verena, because they still had the free Like you can choose your 5-star banner when you first start the game. Of course, I chose Verena. And then some of the free 5-star pulls that you got, I put towards the banner where they actually gave us a discount. So instead of 10 pulls for a 10 pull, it required 8. And so, you got it in like 50 pulls instead of the required 70, 80, whatever it was. And again, I got like another Verena. It was kind of hilarious. And I think I also got a Jian Shin somewhere in there from the standard banner. Long story short, I used those characters to like help me as supports, but I didn't have any DPSs. My DPSs were all free attainable units like Danjin, Havoc Rover, Chixia, Yang Yang, Sanhua, so on and so forth. These are the people that I got for free without having to summon, that I was using in order to clear endgame at the time. I never got a chance to touch Whimpering Waste, unfortunately, but at least TOA and so on. So I had a blast. Long story short, I got back into it and I was having so much fun. I was running a 3 DPS team, no healer, no support. I was literally doing Yang Yang, Chixia, and Sanhua. And those 3, I mean, they're all 4 stars, and it's some of the most fun I've had playing Wuthering Waves, because not only was it hard, challenging, and I had to, accommodate for all the dodge windows, the parry windows, and my health, but I was doing a decent amount of damage and having a lot of fun, because visually, it's not clutter. Like, everything was smooth. So, long story short, I came back to it, had a good time with it, and in just a short while, I found myself clearing, like, the whole map and had 60,000 Astrite to my name. 60,000 Astrite just from clearing the map is super generous, and really wasn't that hard since they had introduced the Renacita wings for the 2.0 area. In order to get that in Jinzhou, they had to do an update, but they introduced it a few updates later, and suddenly I could explore the entire map with my wings, which was way faster and way more convenient for me, right? So, long story short, I told myself I was going to save up to 100,000 Astrite. And guess what? I'm at 83,000 right now with 100 Lunite. Because I've gotten them from the monthly stuff since I've been using my pulls on the standard banner. I've actually accumulated enough Coral, or not Coral, sorry, Lunite, whatever they're called. I think they're called Lunites, which is the yellow summon specific only to the character banners. I have 100 of those, which means that alone gives me a free 5-star. Depending if I win my 50-50, that's a whole nother discussion. But then on top of that, I also have 83,000 Astrite, which I could put anywhere to a character and a weapon, for that matter, if I wanted to, right? So I'm going to be having a summon session in, 3 weeks from now? It's going to be my main account. It's going to be me pulling, we'll call it 150 or so pulls on Ameth. And we're hoping for, bare minimum, an S0R1. I might not even have enough for the pulls for the weapon, because I'm not going to have that many pulls, unfortunately, since I did pull for Mornier. But the good news is, you're going to see a second video. I might even combine them, I'm not sure yet. But you're going to see a second video where I'm going to be pulling on my alternate account. And we're going to have, I'm going to guesstimate 630 to 650 pulls. Because it's free to play, so I don't have, like, the monthly pass or anything, you know what I mean? So, and I also don't buy the battle pass, like, at all. Like, I just did no way. So, long story short, you're going to see something that it might go amazing, it might not. I don't know. I'm praying that it does, because I've never summoned on the limited time banner. But we're going to find out together. Long story short, I know that I've kind of been blabbing this whole time, but these 5 teams that are being shown right now are my 5 strongest teams on my account currently. I do also have Camellia. I do also have Zheng Liao. Obviously, I have Havoc Rover, but I'm not using him because I have the Arrow version, since it's so much better for my Cardathea. Like, if you see what his, not necessarily his cons, but if you look at what his weapon does, especially when it's R5 and it's free, it's kind of insane how it buffs arrow damage by 32%. It's like literally too good to pass up. So, and you can see my Cardathea is absolutely murking right now. I mean, nobody stands a chance. Even in the TOA, she is soloing. She is by far like the strongest character in the game, especially when you have her S6 and cons and stuff. It's just not even close. Regardless, the beautiful thing about this is you can see that my score is already at 10,000. And we were at 26,000 and some change, and we're quickly approaching the end of this challenge. The cool thing is, I had done this prior, and I decided to restart because when I pulled Mornier, I realized that I now had 5 working teams instead of 4, because I really had put a weird team on the 5th one and 6th one. I think I even went up to 7 teams, and it was like, nah, this is all weird. I'm throwing all kinds of units all over the place. So I decided to re-challenge it from the very beginning, and I was able to get a new clear of 37,000 points, and I gotta say, I'm extremely proud of that. Now, I know for some of you enthusiasts out there, of course you want to see the builds, so I'm going to show every single character, all three of them and all five teams will be showcased here, so you guys can get a gist of what I was working with. With that being said, I'm not going to commentate over the next 5 or so minutes. It's all builds. It's not really much to kind of yap home about, so I'm going to let the video play out. You guys enjoy it if you want, and if not, you can end the video here. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Godman out.
Plan with convention, then conquer.
Hopefully, we'll make new findings. Hopefully, we'll make new findings.
Anything I can help you with? Anything I can help you with?
Today will be a fine day. Today will be a fine day. Scissors at the ready. Scissors at the ready.
Where my blade leads, triumph follows. Where my blade leads.
While the moon cycles, I remain the anchor. While the moon cycles, I...
Power levels. Precision calibration. Combat efficiency. All green. Power levels. Precision calibration. I alone will decide whether it's for show or for battle. I alone will decide whether it's for
Understood. I am here to serve your will. Understood. I am here to...
the power to split and merge matter. The power to split and merge matter.
I should try to smile more, you say? Like this? I should try to smile more, you say? Like this?
I will be there for everyone as we head toward our shared future, leaving the past behind. I will be there for everyone as we head toward our shared future, leaving the past behind.